Hi. Okay, so I'm wrapping up my workday, and I went back and I was reading some of the comments on different posts that I'd made around the internet, and I want to address some of the specific qualifications for teaching English as a second language online. Yeah, and most of the online companies have very similar requirements, but they're all different, and it really depends on the company. So you're going to want to ask the specific company. I'm going to tell you today about PalFish, the company that I work for, and some general basic requirements. The first thing that you need is a license to teach English as a second language. This is really not that complicated to obtain, and I'm going to tell you right now, on my website, sandradbond.com, I have a post that I've got linked down below here. It's called the 10 things to do to get started teaching, and it'll walk you through getting the license and opening up a Payoneer account, or connecting your PayPal account, those kinds of things. But the first thing you need is that license, and you can get one through an online service and an online company if you're planning to teach online, and only if you're planning to teach online. That online one, you really need the more extensive courses, because if you plan to teach on the ground in any country, China, Mexico, anywhere you want to go, you're going to need a more thorough license, I guess would be the way to put it. Classroom time, learning how to write lesson plans, all of that comes with the bigger license. But the one to get started teaching online is really not that complicated. You can get a copy, you can get that online, and you can get it literally in a day or two. Depends on how quickly you can read through material and take the tests. It's like a read it, answer the questions, and I think it's 80% better and you pass. I'm not completely positive. It's been years since I have a TEFL, TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language certification. I paid a lot of money because I wanted to be teaching in China. So I made sure that I got the requirement for that. But the online ones are like $25. It's really not that much of an investment. This is one of the cheaper industries to really just kind of get started in. When I started, I didn't even have, you guys, let me tell you, these pictures, my printer was out of ink. I had a black and white picture in my first couple of classes. I had one of my kids draw me a picture. So, immediately to get started, I'm going to say less than $50 to get started in this industry. That and ungodly amounts of patience. You need so much patience in this particular field because it takes a while to get started. But the other thing, now all of these companies across the board are going to require that certification. So get one. It's inexpensive enough. The knowledge is ridiculously helpful. You really want to kind of read through it all. Because it helps, it's a different world. It's a different kind of setting, a different kind of classroom. So you have to have that. The other thing you're going to need is, and this is where it gets complicated, yeah, if you're going to need a passport. If you don't have your passport for identification purposes, and let's say you're from the United States or pretty much any other country, you're going to need a copy of your driver's license or your state ID and your birth certificate. You're going to need both of those if you can't provide your passport. If you're married and you don't have a passport and you're using your ID and your birth certificate, you're also going to need to include a copy of your marriage license because your name has changed. So there's that, yeah. Proving who you are, that kind of paperwork. So again, these are things that are not that costly, but you need them to get started. Some companies, like the company I work for, PalFish, do not require a degree. If you want to work in China, you're going to need a degree. A degree in anything is what it was for a long time. I think that might be changing. But for how it stands now, it's a degree in anything. Some companies require a degree, some companies don't. And that it really is up to you. You kind of got to look around and test the waters. I'm pretty sure VIP Kid, the other super popular company, they require a degree. My company, PalFish, is a Chinese company, and they're in China, operated by China. owned by Chinese people, and they do require a degree. They do require your TEFL or your TESOL. There's a couple of them. I mentioned I have a TEFL, TEFL. There's a TESOL. There's a handful of different names for the certification to be able to do this. So the other big one for like my company, PalFish, is they only for their kids program. Now this is not for, I believe, the Free Talk program is open to I think people of all nations, but the official kids program will only hire people from the United States, from the UK, from Australia, from Ireland, native English speaking countries. I got this feeling Canada. I knew I was forgetting one. So it depends on the company. Some companies don't have that requirement. And like I said, I'm compiling a list. I want to talk about a handful of the different companies that are out there and what some of the pros and cons that people tell me about working with them are too. Because, not every company is the right fit for you. So you want to look into all of those things. Some companies want native speakers from only certain places. Others have, a lot less stringent requirements. The degree is a good thing that you mentioned, yeah? Because not all companies require a degree, but a lot of them do, and that's quickly changing. So that's a really good thing to bring up. Let's see, what else do you need to get started? You need an internet connection. Oh my goodness, you need a good quality, strong internet connection because your entire job is on the internet. So you can't talk to people, you can't have classes unless your internet connection is good. You can, with PalFish, you don't use your computer. With my company PalFish that I work for, I use my iPad actually. Yeah, I actually bought this thing with my first real paycheck, my second month into the kids program, and I got this. This is a Wi-Fi only. I paid $333 at the Walmart, and I got the Apple Pen with it too for like $90. I love the Apple Pencil. But I'm gonna break into song. Pen, pineapple, apple, pen. But I waited. Like I got started on bare bones pennies. Like I said, black and white picture or a hand drawn picture behind me. And every time I got a paycheck, you get paid once a month too, by the way. That's a big one. Most people in the world are familiar with or used to getting paid once every month. In the United States, that's kind of weird and it freaks people out. So you got to get used to that one too. That's another big one. It's not that common in standard jobs. Yeah, retirements, yeah, maybe the once a month thing, but most people are used to getting paid once a week, twice a month, something like that. And that's not how this works. You get paid once a month. Some companies pay once a week. Everybody, like I said, there's so many out there and there's so many differences. A lot of companies still pay through PayPal. Company I work for uses Payoneer along with a handful of other really big internet companies. So, there's a lot of stuff to kind of touch base on. But the beauty is, like I said, down below, I've got a link to an article on my blog, sandradbond.com, that goes through the 10 steps, one right after the other, so that you can kind of get started doing this. But yeah, you don't need a lot, and you surely don't need a lot of money. You don't always need a degree. You do need to be able to speak English. Most of the companies are looking for native speakers from, the bigger native countries. And it really varies from company to company. But stay with me because I'm going to keep updating this every single week. I'm going to talk more and more about what this job is, what you have to do, what companies are out there, who's hiring, who's not, who's better to work for, those kinds of things. So thanks for hanging in so far. If you're watching these videos, please don't like, your choice. If you don't like what you're seeing, by all means, you don't have to up like, but you can down like too, just to engage and let me know that you were here and you're watching. Those are hearts. I do that with my students. Yeah. Big hearts, little hearts. See you later.